All right, how's it going, you guys? Now, this is an article that I'm sorry about this. I don't know what this is, but excuse that. Now, this was an article that I found today, and it was really interesting to me. I try to stay away from IGN and its biasness for Square Enix and anything Capcom related, but this caught my attention. It really caught my attention, and it was classics dealing with Sega that should be transferred or imported to the 3DS. Now, some of the games that they recommended should be ported over are Jet Set Radio Future, which this was a very good game that I purchased on the Xbox, and I beat it. It was very good. I love the soundtrack. Anybody else who played the game, you probably definitely remember the soundtrack and the cool, graphics for that time. It was very good, and the story was kind of good too. But I really remember the wonderful soundtracks and just how much fun I had just skating around and graffitiing everything that I could get my hands on. So that was a pretty good game. Then also we had Gain Ground. Now I haven't heard of this game, or I haven't even played it really, excuse me. But from what I can understand and what I've read from the article, is it's a strategy game. Which strategy games, of course, would do well, but it didn't just focus on the strategy game. It was talking about the visuals of the game and how it would transfer over in 3D, and it would just be very, very good for its time, especially for the 3DS. And they had this other game called Panzer Dragon. Haven't heard of that. Once again, it's probably a strategy game, or probably a tactile Final Fantasy type game. Not Final Fantasy, but has Final Fantasy aspects or attributes in it that make it seem this way. But once again, it seems pretty cool, and in 3D it might work well. Then we have Seaman. Now I'm going to skip that. I don't even know what this is, but it was probably another good game. Of course, it's going to utilize the microphone as it says in the article. Seems pretty cool. And then we have Nights into Dreams. Now, this is something that I don't know about, but I would love if someone no one knows anything about this game. Please comment down below because it looks really cool. It looks like a lot of stuff is going on here, and it kind of reminds me of Kid Icarus Uprising. Because you have this little thing flying through these flaming circle hoop things, and it just looks so cool to me. And it definitely seems like this would definitely seems like this would do well on the 3DS. Now, one thing that I want to recommend that's put on this list is going to the sixth spot, and that would be Virtual On. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Virtual On. Now, this is a game that I imported from Japan back in the day. And I imported it to my Sega Dreamcast. And the reason why I remember it is because it reminded me of Gundam. But there was so much more you could do with this game. You could fight. They use kind of like light. It's not lightsaber swords, but it was just so cool. The music was phenomenal in this game, and the reason why I remember it is because it was in an arcade. It was in an arcade. One day I went to the mall and I was with my friend. We were playing this game in the arcade. My friend told me that you can get this game on the Dreamcast. I said, where can I buy it? He showed me where I could buy it. I bought it, and from there it was history. And I remember this game so much. I loved it. And if my Dreamcast I think it's still in working condition, but I don't know how it's going to transfer over to my flat screen TV. But if I still had it to this day, I would still play it. I mean, because that's just how much I love that game in particular. Now, the reason why they're doing this is because Sega had some type of anniversary, and they released some games that were popular in the past. And they got a lot of good feedback from it. So IGN made this top 5 list, and they gave a recommendation, and hopefully everyone sees this list and they say, okay, that's kind of a good idea. And I think we should push some of these games for the Nintendo 3DS. But the one game, if I had to recommend it, the one game that I would like to see on the 3DS is Jet Set Radio Future. If none of these games make it, please push and put Jet Set Radio Future on the Nintendo 3DS. That would be so awesome. Oh my gosh, if you had the soundtrack, if you had all the characters in it, just the storyline, and add a couple of side stories too, that would be awesome too. It's going to be a successor because it's going to grab the newcomers of who haven't even heard of Jet Set Radio Future. They're going to get the game. Then you're going to have old school gamers like me and a couple of other my friends and anybody else who owns a Nintendo 3DS. They're going to purchase this game as well. Plus, you also have Super Smash Bros., which that has no correlation to this video. But when that comes out, that's going to be successful as well. So, with that being said, guys, leave your leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think about this top 5 list, and if Virtual On would make a spot in your top 5 or top 6. So with that being stated, guys, I'll see you guys later in another video. Peace, sayonara, and stay gold.